Okay, you two. Why is this thing so blurry?
Because the silly face is time.
What are you doing? Making a funny face.
I did nothing, Grandpa.
Oh, this thing is like, man, it's blurry. Did I get blurry at the end of this thing?
No.
It must have got dirty or something. Now, look at this. What are we doing? But if you fall into that, you know what'll happen? Is that
my head it would get free.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, my melted would be body. Then my body would be melted.
Yes.
Ah, my nose.
And your nose will get burned off.
Yeah, and
So that's why you gotta watch these things. And when you see these lights right here, what does that mean?
hot.
Hot. Hot. Can you feel it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's starting to get boiling. And that'll start, this is called boiling. Boiling. Can you say boiling?
So boiling, it means when the bubbles pop out. That
Right.
means
And you know why it boils?
Because it needs to get
It's so hot. There's so much energy in the water that it escapes as a gas.
So that's why it boils.
It comes right up there. The heat comes out of there. It can't even come, so it starts to boil and heat the bottom.
So that's how it gets hot.
Yeah. Well, what's getting it hot is this electric stove.
Let's see. So that makes it hot. The electric stove makes it hot. So
What?
that's how it's hot.
Grandpa put liquid in there.
Yes, I did. Water in there.
It turned into gas. Gas is like smoke coming out. Or something.
Right. Well, this is the gas. This is the water. It's
Gas.
called. It's a gaseous
It
form.
used to be-
It's basically in a.
Look.
It's like not a true gas because it's water.
Sometimes the stuff in the fridge is solid because it's like
Frozen.
ice.
It's cold. The colder something
There's
gets,
little
the
stuff
more
in it.
solid it gets. The hotter something gets, the more gaseous it gets. And it can be in a state of liquid at different temperatures. Depends on what it is. If this was
So if you touch this right
if this
now,
was a rock and it was this hot, would the rock boil?
So
Would a rock boil or not?
The temperature, the temperature.
If it was hot enough, it would boil.
It gets cold.
Yes.
When it goes up, it gets hot.
Right. Now look at it. That's boiling.
it's boiling.
Okay. Now.
When it bubbles, like
Now what we're gonna do? What we're gonna do?
I'll sprinkle the cheese in.
No, don't put that in yet. Okay.
I'll
Now,
put the noodles in.
you want to put the noodles in? Okay. Put them in. And then we're gonna set a timer.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And we're setting that timer to go. Oops.
I'll do the cheese too.
No, I'm doing cheese up.
Okay. Now this is what also you do. You kind of so it doesn't stick on the bottom, but I put some. It's probably. I moved it enough. I moved it.
Don't forget, I'm doing this. I'm doing this.
Well, that's gonna be in how many minutes?
Circle minutes.
8 minutes.
8 minutes. And then,
And then sometimes when you notice, when your hand gets in front of hot stuff, it gets sweaty kind of. So.
Right. Well, if it gets too hot too fast, depends on the amount of energy. Look at the amount of energy coming out of there.
and
Because
then
the gas is like,
now my hand.
it's like they
It's
want to go out to the playground and they're trying to rush out the doors. Is
that what-
Everybody
Whoa,
school, kind of.
and then the gas gets this smoke gets ready.
Right. But we don't know if that's like they call it really probably kind of steam
First they're hard when
because
you
it's
turn them,
above
and then when they get
215,
warm, they start to
220.
get
But I'm not
soft.
sure. It may be just because the temperature of this room
Making.
is cool, and so it's making. You know how you
So it's
blow
like a
your
hot
blow
tub.
your breath out inside?
Very hot.
That's steam. It looks like this, but it's not hot.
It's like a hot tub, but it's very, very more hot.
Oh yeah, this is a lot hotter.
So when you make your get ready,
If you put a Barbie in here and use it as a hot tub, it will burn.
Burn the Barbie? Well, the Barbie's not alive, but if you if anybody got close to that or spilled that on them, guess what?
They will die.
No, not necessarily.
They will get
They
very
could get scalded. You could get scalded.
So be very careful.
Scalded means that you'll get such a hard burn, it's going to give you 3-degree burns, it's going to tear your skin right off.
Get burned.
Right.
you take a really cold
So
shower.
that's what happened to Nana in that heater.
Well, you got some thoughts there. You know, if you took a really cold shower, what would happen? It'd help you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you'll get cold.
Right, but then you know the only reason you take that is the cold will take the energy in, because what's burning you is that energy coming in and it can't go out, so it burns you.
If you spilled in it and then you
So if you put your finger in here, it gets very hot.
and
It's like inside the gas.
Yeah.
so
Now you see, is it coming up like this, boiling?
Stop.
You can turn this down a little bit. You turn it down just a little bit and let it go down. And the reason you do that, you know why? Because there starts to get impurities at the top, so it's not pure water. It's coming off of that noodles.
so you when you
These
get,
noodles, actually.
when
Yeah,
you
well, keep
spill
them in
it,
there so they
then
can
you
boil.
want it to cold
See, you don't have to turn it now. See why? Because you got what's called a roaring boil. This is called a roaring,
It's like a volcano.
like a little roaring.
It's like a monster. Roar!
Or a rolling, could be a rolling. But you see, you know what my problem was in my life? I could
It
never
could be
hear.
like
So
a
they could have been saying
volcano.
rolling boil or a roaring boil. And I would have said, wow, roaring boil, right?
So then if you get in there, if you do it as a hot tub, then you if the Barbie jumps in there.
Yeah, but that's too hot for a hot tub.
Then the Barbie can take off her clothes and then put it in the sink.
Well, the Barbies don't have clothes on anyway, do they? Or do you got clothes for your Barbies?
Yeah. So if the boy Barbie jumps in the
Yeah, but you wouldn't put them in. You wouldn't if Barbies, since your Barbies are alive or not. So they could probably go in there. But could you go in there?
No.
Could anybody go in there?
No.
Okay. It would boil whoever was there alive. They would be boiled alive, and cannibals would get them. Did you ever heard of
So if the dog went in there, they would die.
the dog? Yeah, exactly. You don't want anything. You do not want anything around boiling water.
So you do food go in there, they won't die because they're not food.
Well, lobster. What about lobster?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about crab? What about shrimp? Live shrimp? Yeah, they would if they were alive. This would kill anything I know of that's alive.
A moose will go die.
Yeah, even a moose. But this is too small for a moose. It'd just burn him, and he'd be mad, and he'd come over and knock you over.
I have a baby moose.
No, baby moose you wouldn't put in there. Plus, you don't cook moose by boiling them. No,
So if you put the baby milk in it, it tastes
that's
yummy.
purified water, isn't it? That's for your little sister, huh?
Even if you put Pepsi in it.
Pepsi?
If you put a toaster in it, if a born then so if you put your hand in the toaster and then you put water, hot water in your arm.
Would you want to do that?
No.
No.
Because you would die.
Well, it could shock you.
Yeah. Even so, if you put this thing, if you put just you have a finger with Sally, then you put it doesn't have no band-aid, then you put it in there, you'll be dead.
It'd be no. Well, this is too small, but this could really burn you and cause an infection, and then you could die from the infection. But yeah, you don't want, for instance, you wouldn't want this poured over the top of you would anything. No, you want to be respectful, and that's good that you got this up here because some little children come up here to the side and they're curious, and they never know, and no one tells them what it is, and one day they get old enough after they pulled on this a couple times, and then sometime they go and they leave this thing off the side like this, and they want to see what it is, and they grab it and they pull the whole thing on top of them. So always turn your handles in like this.
So do I have to tell my kids that when I have my kids?
Yes, you have to tell your kids that. In fact, you have to practice that until you have kids. But you go to college first, okay?
Okay.
And that's why I'm trying to tell you this. You want to know the key to a happy life?
So if I have my I have my Barbies, and then Sophia has my Barbies, and also a little kid that Sophia has her Barbies. She's a little kid. We can give them to our kids.
They do what?
We have our toys when we're little kids.
Uh-huh.
Then when we get grown up, we can give it to our kids.
Are they going to be friends? They'll be cousins. When you have a child and your sister has a child, they're going to be cousins. The children will be cousins.
Even me and Sophia.
Like you and Isabella.
Even me and Sophia will still be sisters.
Yes, you'll still be sisters.
We're gonna be sisters forever.
Yep. You're sisters forever. Once you're sisters, you're always sisters.
Then when we are grandma, we still will be sisters.
Your grandma? Yeah, when you're grandmas, yes, you'll still be sisters. Yeah, exactly. When you're grandmas. But to become a grandma, what do you have to have?
A granddaughter.
Right, but how will you get a granddaughter?
Sophia's kid will be my granddaughter.
Nope, that would be your niece.
But your daughter having a kid.
Okay, so this is off. We now timed it. We turn it off. I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to boot this. But anyhow, say goodbye to all your fans.
No, sometimes. Sometimes.
Okay, see.
Now, goodbye, friends. Wait,
Okay.
what's your name?
I don't know. My name's Arthur. Arthur Finnegan.
Goodbye.
Okay, goodbye.